Good evening, Rabbi. It says in the Mishnah that women are also obligated to do prayers. They're also obligated to pray. Not only men. So the question is, why are they obligated to pray, women? It really should be that they're absolved. They're not obligated. Turot. Why is that? Because it's mitzvah taseh shazman grama. It's a positive commandment, which is time-bound. So it should be that, according to this rule, women are exempt from time-bound positive commandments. Mitzvah taseh shazman grama. So how is it that they're chayav? So because, the reason, because the tefillah is the Rabbanan. It's not from the Torah. The tefillot that we have, the Amidah, and the other tefillot that we have, they're not from the Torah. The only part which is from the Torah is Kriyat Shema. And even there, it's only the first pasuk, right? Not the whole Kriyat Shema. The rest of the Kriyat Shema is the Rabbanan also. The first pasuk is the Oraita. That's why a person, let's say he's going to sleep, right? And he's very tired. So what happens is sometimes he's so tired, he can't even muster the strength to say Kriyat Shema before he goes to sleep, Okay, his body's like giving out, he's collapsing. It happens sometimes like that. So, what should a person do when he's like that? He has to say Kriyat Shema before he goes to sleep. Right? So, it says the halakha like this, that what a person should do is at least say the first pasuk. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. You said the first pasuk, that's already from the Torah, you fulfilled your obligation. So therefore, if you can't say the rest and you're so tired, dakansulia. So then you can just go to sleep like that. That's the idea. Right? So anyway, the first pasuk you should really try to say. Why? Because it gives you protection when you go to sleep. So you shouldn't have all kinds of bad things going on when you sleep there. Bad dreams, bad occurrences, right? All kinds of bad events that go on at night, I won't even mention what they are, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? There's all kinds of things. It says in Zohar Kadosh, what happens when a person goes to sleep? Sometimes he gets like something which is called, excuse my expression, it's called a wet dream, wet dream, Why? Because he has a seminal emission. Why does this happen, by the way? The person, all of a sudden, he wakes up in the morning, and excuse my expression, he's a sweaty, he does. He's wet. Why does this happen to a person like that? Well, he's sleeping. What business does he have to be wet over there like this? So it says in the Zohar Kadosh, what happens is like this, that when a person sleeps, his neshama leaves him. Part of his neshama leaves him. There's three parts of the neshama, right? We have the nefesh, the ruach, and the neshama. So what happens is the higher parts, they leave, and the nefesh, the lower part, stays there to keep the body alive. But the rest of the neshama leaves. So what happens is that a person wakes up in the morning, now he's Bria Chadasha, he has to do all kinds of things, wash his hands because he was... So what happens is that when his neshama leaves him, comes, some bad angels, some demons, Ishmakebi, and they come and play with him. How they play with him? Backgammon, not the B'skor Tamashova. How do they play with him? What kind of games are they playing? So what they do is they show him all kinds of things, in dreams, they show him some dreams. They have the power to do that. They show him some things, like as if he's, with some girl, some gogostanari, excuse my expression, Bodishi, so they show him some things like this, so they get him excited, and when this happens, he has a wet dream. This is what happens. This is why it happens, this whole thing. What's the reason why they play this game with him, these Eshmakevi, these demons? What's the reason why? Why are they doing that? There's a reason for it. First of all, right, it says in Chazal that a person usually gets these wet dreams at night. You know why it happens? Because in the daytime he's thinking about bad thoughts, He's thinking about girls, he's looking at internet, all kinds of movies, all kinds of stuff. He shouldn't be looking at that stuff. So he's looking at girls, also he goes to work, he's looking at girls over there, and they're not dressed properly, they're not sniut, not modest, right? So what happens is that because of that, he has thoughts in his head. At night he goes to sleep, and boom, he gets like a wet dream like that. This is what happens. This is the reason why it happens. But also, they have a reason for themselves. Also, those ashmakiri, those demons, they have also a reason for themselves. What's the reason why? Because this is the way they reproduce. They reproduce like this. What they do is they make a person get excited, and semen comes out, and they're able to get from there reproduction, to have like more children. This is the whole thing, This is the reason why they do it. This is what happened to Adam Arishon, right? They say all the time that he was divorced from his wife, when he separated from his wife, it was over 100 years that he separated from her. This is what was happening, He was giving birth to all kinds of demons. So this is what happened to Adam Arishon, and this is what happens to everybody, that this happens. So how do you avoid this problem? As we said, right, in the daytime, don't look at things you're not supposed to look at. We're talking about now, Shovavim, right? Guarding the Brit. But also there's another thing, they say that when you say Kriyat Shema at night, it guards you from this. So a person should try to say Kriyat Shema before he goes to sleep. At least, as we said, right? At least the first pasuk. It says in the Chazal, when a person says Kriyat Shema at night, he destroys all the evil forces, He wipes them out. They have no power over him when he says Kriyat Shema. Such a powerful thing, to say Kriyat Shema. All three, the Kabbalistim, the Mekubalim, the Arizal, he says you have to say all three paragraphs. Although the custom of the Ashkenazim is not like this, right? The Ashkenazim, what they do is they say the first paragraph only. Yeah, if you look in their Sidur, you'll see over there, that's what they do, right? They don't say three paragraphs. But what happens is that the Arizal comes and tells us that no, you should say all the three paragraphs. Because now, things were different in the old days. In the old days, things were different. What happened was that now, there's more tumah in the world. As the world goes on, more and more, until we get close to Mashiach, there's more tumah, there's more impurity, there's more harmful agents that are going on. So because of that, a person needs to protect himself more and more. So says the Arizal, the only way you can do that is to say Kriyat Shema, all three paragraphs. Also, another thing, the Gemara says something amazing, right, about this halakha. It says that a person who is a Talmid Chacham and he's learning Torah at night, Torah shinachulos, chames. He's not watching CNN, right, and cable TV, right, and all that nonsense. Not wasting his time with all that stuff. Talmid Chacham should be learning it, especially at night, right? Should be learning all the time. So what happens is, says the Gemara, he doesn't need to say Kriyat Shema when he goes to sleep. Talmid Chacham doesn't need it. Why is that? Because the Torah guards him, Torah they learn. It's enough. Dayenu. It's enough with that. The Torah guards you better than everything else. You know what they say, right? Chazal, they say in the Zohar Kadosh, that even though there's all kinds of things that we do, right? We say Ketoret, and we say Korbanot, and we do Korbanot we used to do in the old days when we had a Bet HaMikdash. All these things to get kapara, to get forgiveness, to get all kinds of things, segulot, all kinds of good things for us, prayers that we should succeed. Nevertheless, Divrei Torah, right? Talmud Torah can get kulam. What does that mean? That it's stronger than all the other things combined, the Torah. It's stronger. So a person who's learning Torah, especially at night, he doesn't need to sacrifice his korbanot, he doesn't need ketoret, he doesn't need nothing. Torah protects him. That's the most amazing thing about the Torah, It has the power to protect you. Also another thing, right now we have Baruch Hashem, what Baruch Hashem, right? It's a disaster, Shem Yirachem. We have COVID running all over the place, right? Everywhere. Everywhere you look, there isn't one family that somebody's not sick over there, It's going everywhere. Didi Mamzeria has COVID. Wow, Mamzeria. It goes everywhere. Especially the new variant that we have today. This new one is super contagious. Like unbelievable. Nobody even knows what's going on anymore. We can't even keep counting. How many people are getting sick already. So it says also that the Chazal regarding this, that the best way to protect yourself from diseases, we already talked about many things, right? We talked about doing teshuvah, this is the best way. And also reading Ketoret, about the incense, reading every day about the Ketoret with Kavanah. This also protects you very, very strong. But the truth is, that if a person is learning Torah, he's protected. The Torah protects him from everything. Protects him from all the diseases, all the problems, everything, So people, they ask me, when I tell them this, they ask me, right? I bet you Shalom is going to ask me too now. He's also going to ask me. Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Go ahead, please, I want to hear you, what you have to say.
How those big rabbis get?
Yeah, that's a good question. I knew the question already. Okay, so yeah, it's an obvious question. There's a lot of rabbis who also passed away. Chachamim and all kinds of gedolim and all kinds of things, So the truth is, people ask me this question all the time. But you tell me, that I have to do teshuvah and the Torah and this and that protects me. But people are getting sick. Everybody's getting sick. The ones who are religious, the ones who are not religious, the ones who are rabbis, the ones who are not rabbis. Everybody's getting sick. So what's going on? So what the answer is? It's very simple. You have to understand one thing, that a person gets sick to the degree that he deserves it. To get kapara for his sins. So one person, can get COVID. All he has is, sniffles and a cough, and he finishes with that. Why? Because he doesn't have a lot of sins. So he gets off light. There are people who have more sins, so they need bigger problems to get absolved from their sins. So what happens to them? Right? They're on the respirator over there in the hospital. All kinds of things going on, right? They can't breathe. I had one relative, who's my mother's cousin. She got COVID last year. She was in the hospital for 3 months. She almost died. She got alive, came out alive just with a fraction of life. She was almost dead. 3 months over there on the respirator, this and that. So every person has their own, mana, their own chelek, in this thing. A person can get sick, but depends on what happens if you get sick. So you know what I ask you, right? What about the chachamim? There were chachamim who died also from COVID. So you know what it is, my friends? I'll tell you that there are also chachamim who have sins. You should know. You think the chachamim don't have sins? They also have sins. What do you think? Just the opposite, right? The other Rabbah. The chacham who has sins gets judged more strictly than the amaretz. They judge him, kechut hase'ara. Nichnasim imo. They judge him much more strictly than they judge a regular Jew. So if he has a big sin, something that he did, something very, very wrong, they judge him much more severely. Shem Yerachem. This is what happens. I'll tell you honestly, I saw many rabbis, who passed away from COVID the last 2 years. And there was many of them, that I personally knew what their sin was. I knew they had some kind of a sin. Because I saw them doing some bad things. And when it happened to them, I said, yeah, well, I remember what happened. Sometimes, what it is, I'll tell you. Unfortunately, what happens is that, a lot of Talmidei Chachamim in our times, they have a chutzpah, They're chutzpah chatzuf. So what happens is that they speak about other Chachamim, Lashon Hara, who are bigger than them in Torah. And they say, this Chacham, what? Why is he behaving this way? We're just like him. We're all the same. This is exactly what happened with Miriam, right? And Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron, What do? They said about Moshe Rabbeinu, yeah, we're the same as him, so why is he acting differently from us? Why is he different from us? We're all the same. We're all prophets. We're all Nevi'im. We're all tzaddikim. So why is he any different than we are? But Kadosh Baruch Hu told them, no, he's not the same as you. He's much higher level than you are. Don't compare yourself to him. So what happened? They got sick. They got tzaraat. That's what happened. Sure. Yeah.
I don't know what is it. How does that?
Ushmartem meod. Right.
The question is that apply here?
Good question. So the truth is.
In other words, if I wear a mask,
Yeah.
or I don't wear a mask,
Yeah.
it's contradicting. Because if I wear a mask, I'm protecting myself.
Yes.
If I don't wear a mask, I'm not protecting myself. So,
Yeah.
is there any way to reconcile that?
Well, to be honest with you, I can tell you one thing. You know, I'm not a big professor, I'm not a big doctor, you know, I'm just a regular guy. But what I can tell you is this, you know, that there is a concept like this in halakha. You know, that you have a situation which is like vadai. For instance, let's say you know that a person is sick, you know. He's positive, tested positive, you know, he's got symptoms, he's positive for COVID. You shouldn't get close to him, you know, don't go over there and just start, you know, hanging around with him, you know, for a half hour, sitting there with him. You're going to get sick probably, you know, God forbid, you know, you never know what's going to be. You know what I mean? So this is Yishmat 10, you know, you got to watch yourself. Yeah, but now let me explain to you, right, a little bit more to explain, right? But let's say you don't know that a person is sick, you know? It's safek. I don't know if he's sick. I'm not really sure, you know? So over there to say now, oh, I'm not gonna talk to him because maybe he's sick, you know, maybe, you know? This is already going too far, you know? This is already going too far. Why? Because it's already like six, 2 doubts, 3 doubts, 4 doubts. You know, there's so many doubts over there already. You know, maybe he's sick, maybe he's not sick, maybe I'm gonna get sick, maybe yes, maybe no. There's stekot, not a stekot, you know, a lot of doubts.
So should a person wear a mask? Because that pasuk says you have to keep your nefesh, right? You have to protect yourself.
Yes.
So wearing a mask is debatable, whether it helps or doesn't help.
Right.
The question is there validity to wearing a mask in order to, because of that pasuk?
If you're going to ask probably, 100 rabbis, you're going to get 100 different answers about that. You know what I mean? Each rabbi has his own opinion about that. You know, this rabbi is going to this doctor is going to tell you like this, and that doctor, and this professor, you know, everyone's going to tell you something else.
Where am I going with this? I'll tell you what. As you know, this virus is asymptomatic.
Okay.
You could have the virus and don't have symptoms.
Yes.
So the question is,
you
do not know. The person could be walking on the street.
Yeah, you don't know.
And he's a carrier. That's a proof.
It's a carrier, right? But it's a safek, you know.
It's a safek.
Safek.
So the question is,
Paprosia.
shouldn't you still wear the mask?
That person, if you should wear a mask.
No. I'm talking about the person that's not infected.
I personally don't believe in them. But there are some people who, you know, swear by them, you know, up and down, you know. Ipitzeven, you know. You know me. I'm 2 years already here, you know me. I don't believe in masks. But if you know, there are some people who believe in it. But you know, as I said a week ago when I was saying over here some Divrei Torah, that there's one friend I have, you know, just 2 weeks ago, wearing masks, you know, quarantine, making everything sure, you know, vaccination once, twice, booster 3 times, still got it, you know. So you see from there that it's all from Hashem. The truth is, you know, the Rambam talks about this, that a person has to believe. You know, also we see this in the Pirkei Avot as well. You know, what does it say in Pirkei Avot? You know, Pirkei Avot is a very simple book, you know. Like everybody should know, right, what it says there. Every Jew should know what it says there. So what does it say over there? Dever bala olam, right? Dever is magifa, you know, sicknesses, you know, like this kind of plagues. What does the Pirkei Avot say? Why does it come to the world, Dever? Because no masks, because because some laboratory in China, Wuhan, right? This is the reason why they come? No, this is not the reason why. This is just the cause, you know? It's just a goreh. So then what's the reason why they come? Because there are some people who are chayav mitah, bet din shel mala, they did some sins, and they haven't been killed yet. So Kadosh Baruch Hu brings a disease to kill those people who are chayav mitah. This is the reason. I'm talking to you about Pirkei Avot, I'm not talking, this is not my own theory.
So,
What can I tell you? You still have to be careful though. Yeah. When it's a vadai, you know, there's a vadai sakana, you gotta be careful, you know. If it's already 6 stekot, you know, 4 stekot, 5 stekot, 6 stekot, 7 stekot, how far can you go? You know, there's no end to it, you know what I mean? Once you're gonna be so mahmir about everything, you know, you can't even live like that anymore. You can't go outside, you can't go shopping, you can't go to your job. This is what they tried to do, right? Remember 2 years ago? They closed everything down. That wasn't working either, you know? And it was working a little bit, and then once they opened up, it started again. You know, so you can't defeat it, you know, that's the thing. Because it comes from Hashem. This is the whole thing, you know? HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help us to be healthy and happy, and we should see the Geula Shlema, Mashiach Tzidkenu, B'mera v'yamenu, Amen v'Amen, Chazak v'Ematz. Rabbi Chanan HaShomer, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tzvot Israel, לפי חזיבור לא נתור שמונה לחפש, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר. No, that's right.